What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. It's a gloomy day here in Florida. We are supposed to get up to 2 inches of rain here over the next couple 2-3 days. So that means no trolling down for me, but I figured I'll still do a video today and take you along with me. I got a lot of little stuff to do. Plugs over here. You guys have been following along. I mean, look at the spread here. Wow, huh? I mean, again, keep in mind, this is winter. Look at these. These are really grown together right in this section right here. So this would have been a lot faster if I would have done this in the summertime, but I just wanted to show you. Now we'll keep giving you updates on this. I'll link below to videos where I did all this, but I'm really happy with this. Now look, we got weeds coming in here, so gonna have to take care of those coming up, but with this rain coming, no way. So, oh, look at that. Hairy bittercress, you guys are gonna start seeing this. Also my nickname in college. That white flower is distinctive. See it starting to come out there. So always something, always weeds to spray. Figure I'd give you an update. You guys know I've been doing updates on, what is this? Yeah, wood sorrel, huh? Or oxalis it's called, not clover, that's wood sorrel. Oxalis. Got a lot. My arch nemesis. So this bare spot was created by creeping dayflower and I killed it. And look, it's coming back. That's dayflower, purple flower on it, always gives it away. Man, just a tough one. Tough, tough, tough. Winter's tough on lawns here, even though people are like, oh, your lawn doesn't go dormant, that must be great. Well, yeah, if you just look at that section, but you know why that is over there. Again, I'll link to the video why that is over there, but once things get hurt in the winter, they don't recover. It's right there, disease spot. You can see there, here, there, look at that. See, look at how beautiful the lawn is everywhere else, but that's that large patch right there, just ugly. Now, stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, hit the like button too for me, and you'll see in another couple, 2-3 months, maybe even 2-3 weeks, depending what the weather is, that will all fill right back in. So one thing I wanted to show you here in these disease spots, what's happened is the wild Bermuda has taken over. And this is one of those things that I like to teach you guys is that in Florida, things are opportunistic. So we got thick St. Aug all around here, disease over there, disease here. And look at how thick the wild Bermuda is in here. This is all wild Bermuda. Look at that. Common Bermuda, you might call it. So the St. Aug was hurt in this spot, diseased, and the wild Bermuda's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take my opportunity and come right in. That's why a thick turf stand is really the main thing that you need to have here in Florida. So, ugly, right? Bothers me. I see that every time when I drive home, coming over here, boom. By the way, look at the neighbors over there. That's what most lawns look like right now. But when you keep it fertilized, it looks like this, thick and vigorous. And besides those couple spots, which disease is not my fault. You know, some lawns have it, some don't. Just like if you get a disease, it's not always your fault. But anyway, I just concentrate right here. Look at how beauteous Maximus that is. Gorgeous. Go over here, Floratam. I think I need to up my watering a little bit, even though we got this rain coming in, so I'm gonna wait and see. Look at this, opportunistic again, all around the edges. I talked about this before. I had weed whacked way too low around these edges, and you can see it allows, this is more hairy bittercress, it allows it to come in. I did a fall pre-emergent over here, but with the weed whacking, it killed the barrier. And so you can see I have weeds all along the edge. So that's a lesson I learned, and I've been doing this a long time. That's a lesson I learned. I gotta keep my weed whacking up this way and not angle into it where it, you know, creates a bare spot and allows the weeds to come in. Domination line looking good though. That's really what I came over here for. Not too bad, not too bad. It's gonna get better. The other thing you guys will realize, whenever you have an overcast day, your lawn just doesn't look as good. When the sun's shining, the lawn opens up and it shines, right? It grabs that sunlight. But on days like today, the lawn is just kind of like, oh man, I really needed the sun, and it just doesn't look as good. So, but still dominating, and that's cool. And so there's a tip for y'all. When you guys are gonna put a picture on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, make sure that you take your picture when the sun is shining brightly. Your lawn will look a whole lot better. All right, y'all, I wanted to break in here real quick. I'm not sure if you know or not, but I've got a home soil test kit I developed called Yard Mastery. And right now, if you use code YouTube At checkout, you'll get 30% off a single soil test kit, and then all the results, they populate right in my app and give you a custom program and calendar based on those results. It's really easy. Again, this is made just for DIYers, and we got the technology to bring it right to the app so you get a seamless transition right into a custom program. So click the link below for 30% off using code YouTube at checkout. Well, now I gotta go and run a few errands, and the first thing I gotta do is go and pick up my trailer over at Yard Mastery HQ. So here I am at Yard Mastery HQ. I want to show you something. So what's under here is all of the sod and dirt that we dug out of my Bahia lawn project last year. If you forgot, let me give you a quick refresher. This is a typical old school Bahia lawn, and you can see here from footage in January, we had just come off some pretty cold temperatures, which killed off big sections of invading signal grass. These areas had no Bahia grass at all, and this is where most of our focus would go. Now during the spring, we fertilized the entire lawn a couple times so the existing Bahia could thicken up, and we did see really good success there. And then in summer, we tried to seed on 2 different occasions. Both times, we got nothing to grow. Literally nothing. I have an entire video showing that failure that I will link for you below. So after, I think, 3 or 4 failed seeding attempts, I went ahead and rented a sod cutter in August of last year. And Jason and me, we pulled out all the weeds and dead signal grass and planted new sod. Now all the debris we pulled out, that was loaded onto my trailer. And so here's what the sod looked like 3 weeks later as it was getting rooted. And then here's what it looked like 2 months later in October of 2023. At that time, I gave it a dose of my new natural-based soil amendment called Soil Fit that's got 8% nitrogen, 3% sulfate of potash, and contains humic and kelp. That was the final application of 2023. So yeah, it's all been sitting on here since then. It was kind of the last project I did last year, but I wanted to show you something. Look at all these weeds growing on here. Look at all that. Now, you see, we're not in an area where we would get any blown grass or blown weed seeds in here. What this is disturbed soil under here. See, that's all the dead sod and all this disturbed soil. And you got weeds. This is Florida Pusley, or called Florida Snow, because we disturbed the soil and all these weed seeds were in there. Look at all this. I don't know what that is. More Florida Pusley. That looks like Bahia because that's a Bahia seed. But it just goes to show, when you disturb soil, look at all the crap that grows out. Look at this wild Bermuda. Look at this. This will show you how aggressive this is. Look at that. That all grew on top of here in just over the winter time in just a few months. Look, it's even, look at that. That's wild, literally wild. By the way, this just shows the aggressiveness of wild Bermuda. Look at it, it's crawling all over top. It's growing up. Look at that. It grew up through the tarp. Can you see that? It grew up through the tarp there. And look at how long these stolons are. Look at that. That is all in just a couple of months over the winter time. So that's the kind of stuff we're fighting in here in Florida. You're not fighting this kind of stuff up north. You have winter that kind of resets it. Here, stuff still grows in the winter. So in Florida, always be careful when you disturb soil. Now I'm gonna go dump this and get rid of it. But this just goes to show, when you disturb your soil, there's all kinds of weed seeds in there. And you need to keep a thick, dense lawn to keep these weeds from breaking through. So while I gutted out here and get my cardio in, I did do early applications at the Bahia Lawn project this year. So what we did was prodiamine and also some stress blend just to get things started off. Now, if you're in Florida and you haven't started yet, now is the time. Get things going. I'll give you an update on the Bahia sometime in the next couple 2-3 weeks. All right, y'all, so I dropped the trailer and now we are headed over to the Freedom Factory because I want to give you an update there. There is so much going on and coming up. All right, so here we are at the old Freedom Factory over by there. Now you're gonna see lots of damage out here. Some of it recent, but most of it from all of the events that they've been running. They've been running a lot more events out here, especially last year. They probably run more events last year than they ever did before. And that took a toll on the grass. Pretty much every event they have takes a toll on the grass, and then some of the ones that they have called like Tour of Destruction, those take a bigger toll on the grass. And so you see there's just a lot of bare spots like this. We also have a lot of drainage issues out here, which we'll go over. Lots of ruts. See these different ruts? Like there's a hole right there. Well, see, it makes it nearly impossible to mow. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a huge dip right here. Well, actually there's, you know, you never know what you're gonna find out here. Somebody wrecked right there. But there's a huge dip, and actually on this inner circle here, there's a huge dip all the way around. I don't know if you can see that. There used to be this group called the Crotch Kickers that came in here. They did this sliding or drifting or whatever they call it, and they would slide their ass ends all the way through here, and they just dig it out, dig it out. One of them did it, then another one did it, and then they started loving doing it, and they're going deeper and deeper, and it just caused a low spot. And so when they fixed this, the staff at the Freedom Factory, all they did was just sod on top of that low spot, because they're not landscapers, right? They're just trying to get this, they're just trying to do the best they can to get it fixed. And so what we ended up with was a big area that now floods every time it rains. That's one problem. Now we'll talk about what all that is over there in a minute. But pretty much ever since the beginning, we've had some drainage issues, low spots in here, not too bad, but definitely been a challenge. We put some drainage in over there we'll talk about that's been destroyed now. But the big thing I want to point out over here is you just see lots of ruts like this going through here. And some of them you can't see because the grass has grown back in over top of them. So when you mow over there, it's just all through there because there's just bad ruts from all the different cars and trucks and vehicles. And the Tour of Destruction, they drive loaders on this. So now this stuff here, oh yeah, there's my irrigation right there. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot to do here. But what this is drainage that they just fixed. There's large drains at the middle of every one of these big sections of grass, and they're all connected, and some of the connections were starting to degrade, which was causing the track to sink. So they just had to replace all that because all these big drains are connected. So that's what all this is. This is only done because we're getting ready to do another bigger project. That's what I'm talking about right now. But either way, that needed to be done. Over here, we've always had low spots right in here. And you can even see, I don't know, maybe you can't now because of all this clover, but this all in here was a low spot. And at one time, that's why there's all this nutsedge in here, this kalinga, also called water grass, because this is just constantly wet in through here. Now I had drainage in here at one time, but when they had to put in these light poles, the drainage, the drain tile all got cut off and destroyed. So then this would just sit underwater for like the last year, all during the summer. And that's why there's so many weeds there. And that's why the grass is pretty much, you know, not in good shape. Again, lots of weeds. I haven't done any applications out here in over 10 months or so because the grass has just been too destroyed for me to really do anything to it. It's funny, the grass is actually starting to green up. I was here just a few weeks ago, it was still dormant, but you see this area here, this is from what they call the bus stop. Larry McReynolds calls it that. When they do the fall race, they come in and then they come down and around here and they go. And they just put in this concrete too, which helps, but now the cars just end up riding off over there. So we have zero grass in there, and that never got fixed. And this is a huge drop off right here too. So big areas like that. This is all part of the drainage they just started fixing this week. And again, they're doing that in prep for what I'm about to tell you about. But see how there's no grass in here? And then you just have giant ruts, tire tracks from loaders or I don't know, whatever they drive in here at these different events. But what you can't tell is I'm walking up and down, big ruts, up, down, bumps, up, down. Really hard to mow out here. And again, this is back from that bus stop. You can see all the way down through there. no grass. Over here, we've had drainage issues really bad the last 2 years, again, because I had drainage in over here, but when these light poles got put in, all the drain tiles got cut. And so we just had standing water all in through here for months at a time in the summer. And again, more ruts, dead spots. Not all this is from cars. Some of this is from heavy equipment that's driven on here. All kinds of stuff. Lots of clover though, look at that. Again, I haven't really sprayed weeds since last year in the spring. Now this here, this is part of the drainage they just fixed. But again, this needed to be done. So this was gonna have to be done no matter what. So you can see all the damage it caused. I mean, they're gonna have to re-asphalt that. Over here, same thing, just lots of drainage issues that were back there that at one time we had drainage in and it was destroyed. This is not as bad over here, but again, a lot of spots like this that are just, again, to mow this is a nightmare. So anyway, that's kind of where things are out at the Freedom Factory over by there as we stand right now in middle of February. So Cletus contacted me about a month ago. He said, hey, what can we do to get this looking good? He goes, we got the Freedom 500 coming up on April 4th and he wants to make that the biggest event here ever. And so I came up with a plan to go ahead and get this lawn fixed. And that means a complete regrade because of all the ruts and all the damage that's here. And plus fixing the grade where things have been dug out. And then also adding some new drainage in areas. They fixed the main drainage, but we're gonna have to add new drain tile across some other spots. It's gonna require us to rip everything up, regrade, and resod. Now, the first thing y'all are gonna ask is, well, what kind of grass are you putting in here? And I can tell you this much right now. It's not gonna be St. Augustine, it's not gonna be Zoysia, and it's not gonna be Bermuda. So you'll have to subscribe here to find out, or obviously if you're already subscribed to Cleet's channel. And work is gonna start here in about 10 or 12 days or so. I got a whole plan together. I got sponsors on board, the whole thing. So gonna be bigger and better than before. And then this time I also recommended in my proposal, I said, listen, once we get all this done, I'm gonna take care of it again, because before it got all trashed, I took care of it. I mowed it, I fertilized it, I killed the weeds, I did everything. And you all look back at past videos, I had this place looking freaking nice, beautiful grass. But there gets to be a point where too much damage that's either not fixed, or when it is fixed, it's not fixed properly. It actually makes things worse. And that's not these guys' fault. They run a racetrack, they're not landscapers, right? They do the best they can, they're learning as they go. And the biggest lesson we've learned here is that whenever there's an event out here that causes damage, especially something like the Appetite for Destruction, Tour of Destruction, they need to have some budget in place that after each of those type of events, somebody that knows what they're doing, a landscaper, comes in and actually fixes the spots properly, regrades them, puts the right sod down, gets it tamped in there and set, and then I will come out after that and maintain it and get it reestablished, and then we get things fixed properly, other than just putting patches on stuff. You get what I'm saying? So that's really the biggest difference, and that's what we're gonna do going forward. So hopefully that'll keep things nice for several years, and we won't have to do this resod, you know, again for, I don't know, at least a decade, I would hope. So there you go, guys. That's all the updates I have for you today. I hope you learned a little something, or at least got a little bit entertained with that. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the lawn.